Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. I tell you, today a lot of families are going through a lot of struggles when it comes to the issue of drug and alcohol abuse, and that should be everybody's business. There's a great organization out there called Cornerstone Recovery that really is on the front lines helping families go through this struggle. You know, and alcohol and drugs is a family disease. It isn't just the user's disease. It's something that's pervasive in the entire household that needs to be addressed, and this is an organization that does that. Debbie Ortiz has been a regular here on the program, bringing us some great stories from Cornerstone Recovery. And I think today's is going to be exceptional as she brings my friend Annette Edens here to talk about it as well. And she's the actual president and founder of Cornerstone Recovery. Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Appreciate it, Kevin.
Glad to have you. Debbie, real quickly, kind of give us the elevator speech for Cornerstone.
Well, actually, I'm going to let Annette do that.
Okay,
so
she's been doing it longer than you have.
That's right. And she's been so involved in really the creation of what Cornerstone has become. So, Annette, tell us in a few words what Cornerstone does and a little bit about how you came to be involved.
Okay. The way that I think about Cornerstone is that it is like a village, a small town where everybody in the town, parents, kids, are intentionally working toward their own mental health and physical health. The norms of the culture are very positive: honesty, openness, accountability, taking ownership. So that in this village, when a new family comes in, they assimilate to these norms. And, although it's within this larger Houston area, it is very closely watched so that the kids who are trying to get healthy from their drug and alcohol use really learn to live a positive life through positive peer pressure. And then the parents also are learning helpful parenting techniques through the parenting culture. So, and all the parents know all the kids all know all the parents. And so it becomes this sort of a community of accountability.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about how it got started in the first place. I don't think we've had that conversation.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the concept
and we need, obviously, the Reader's Digest version.
Right. I can't tell you the whole history.
Yeah.
Well, it actually got started with, a heroin addict who found that he got more out of working with teens and having teens try to keep each other accountable, and it sort of evolved into getting the parents involved, because teens, the real key to teen recovery is parent involvement. And so that was started back in 1970. This concept has been developing since 1970. I've been involved with it. With Cornerstone is 15 years old. And so we started, those of us who are sort of the characters that have been part of the development, saw a way to expand the parent program and the kids program and add in a lot of adventure that addresses ways for kids to get out there and do risky things without committing felonies, which is a good idea.
Fun felonies,
yeah.
Right? Stay on the fun felonies, eh? Let's try this as an alternative.
Yeah, that's right. So we do a lot of adventure activities, like, mountain biking and rock climbing and trekking in the wilderness and things like that, so that the kids do get a chance to actually experience those dopamine-producing activities that kind of offset their adolescent brain, the deficiencies in the adolescent brain as it's developing.
Yeah, Debbie, your question?
So, Annette, you've done a lot of work, obviously, with families and with the teens, and you have... you're in the process of writing a book, which I think is in the publishing stages now. So tell us what the concept of that book and what you've learned through the years.
Oh, okay. The book is called From Monsters to Miracles, and it is basically a culmination of the parent. I have found over the years that when I work with families, I end up saying a lot of the same things over and over and over again. So the purpose of the book was to provide a sort of a manual that would help families they have the manual in front of them. They don't have to keep asking me. They don't have to pay me to ask me. So some simple concepts like having a unified front between the parents. It doesn't matter if you're married or divorced. Both parents are parents and need to be unified on the rules and the direction of their parenting, and how to hold your kid accountable, how to set up rules and hold them accountable with love, without having to be, that the concept of tough love has been, the concept is great, but the actual way that it's usually carried out has more emphasis on the toughness than the love, and I think that that's not helpful.
Mm-hmm. And that unified front that you talked about, that's not only needed while dealing with kids in recovery, but before they need recovery. That a lot of the problems that gets these kids
Absolutely.
using drugs is that they have figured out how to divide and conquer each of the parents, and so
Absolutely.
creating triangulation and all other kinds of distortions that lead to an unhealthy home.
And there is this sort of common myth that the kids with substance abuse problems come from families that have poor parenting or parents that aren't paying attention. And it just isn't true. The parents that come through our program are so loving and have worked so hard, but they have become divided. They have started bickering between the parents. A lot of them are still intact families, but the kids' substance abuse has created a rift in the family that is really tough to overcome.
Yep. CornerstoneRecovery.org is the website. Debbie Ortiz and Annette Edens. And by the way, Debbie, this is your last time on the program.
It is.
We've loved having you on.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I really appreciate it, Kevin.
And I wish you well in all your future endeavors.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. And Annette, always good to see you.
Thank you so much.
I was glad.
Good
I always
to
check
see
out
you.
the radar screen in advance to see who Debbie's bringing on, and it's like, great. We hadn't had Annette on. That's good news.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, well, you did great, and so did you, Debbie, and always enjoyed it. All right, when we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here shows over there at usdailyreview.com, and this is The Price of Business.
She ain't got